Good morning, everyone. Lee Henson here, President and Founder of AgileDad, and it's time for today's edition of the Daily Stand-Up. Without any further ado, let's get started. Today, I thought it would be fun to discuss some ScrumMaster Anti-Patterns. So what is it about the ScrumMaster when you see it that you just know something is wrong? We've discussed the product owner anti-patterns a bunch of times, but I want to give you the top 5 things that you can see that a Scrum Master should not be doing, or that tips that you know that you need to start looking for a different Scrum Master. Coming in at number 5, the Scrum Masters don't bother to coach the organization. This is where the Scrum Masters only focus on things at the team level. They're not focused on anything outside of the team. They're not focused on how they can help the team remove their own impediments, and they take all the work upon themselves. This is a Scrum Master that's an MC, a master of ceremonies at every Agile meeting, and they frequently don't take the time to help build that internal Agile Center of Excellence or internal Scrum Center of Excellence. They spend the majority of their time just focusing on individuals and on teams and on teams themselves, trying to make sure that they're doing what they can to remove obstacles for the team without letting the team grow by removing obstacles for themselves. Coming in at number 4 is the Scrum Master is nothing more than a secretary. Now that's an interesting one, but when you start using tools, whether it's Microsoft Azure, or version 1, or Rally, or Jira, whatever tool you might be using, what you'll quickly discover is that in many cases the Scrum Master becomes a glorified secretary. Leadership starts asking him to take notes in meetings and start passing along minutes from all the different things that are happening. It just turns into a nightmare, turns into a catastrophe. So I think it's important for the Scrum Master never to be deemed just a secretary or a glorified secretary. It's important for them to understand how to handle the responsibilities of a Scrum Master, and it's important for them to understand that 70% of what a Scrum Master does is intangible. So they need to focus on those intangibles and get those things done before the Scrum Master role becomes obsolete, or better yet, becomes something that people consider not a full-time role. Coming in at number 3, the Scrum Master does not coach or work closely with the product owner. Now this one I think is very interesting and also very, very true. I can't tell you how many times I found that Scrum Masters try to work together with the product owner, but for whatever reason there's misalignment, and what winds up happening is there's disaccord or disagreement. The product owner will go off and do their own thing. They don't rely on a Scrum Master. There's not a good relationship there, and what winds up happening is, oftentimes because the Scrum Master is an advocate for the team, the product owner gets upset or distressed, and it causes misalignment. It causes things to not work out as planned. So I think it's important for us to recognize that the Scrum Master shouldn't just coach individuals on a team or just coach teams, but the Scrum Master also has to work hard to coach the product owner. Coming in at number 2, the Scrum Master is not recognized by management, meaning that management puts so little credibility or so little credence in the Scrum Master role that they don't even know who the Scrum Master is. And in meetings, this person might say, or a leader might say, what is this person doing? Not realizing what the roles or responsibility of the Scrum Master are. It's kind of sad when it happens, but I must admit I've seen this happen on a number of occasions, and that's why I tell managers, especially lower-end managers or middle-tier managers, I advise them that they need to pay attention to the Scrum Master, respect the Scrum Master, respect the framework, respect the process control. And I think what winds up happening over time is you start to understand how WIP limits work and how they can benefit your organization. And it really is just a healthy way for you to stay on top of things and make sure that you're recognizing what the Scrum Master is doing and rewarding them for their achievements. But at the same time, you as a Scrum Master should be watching out for all the things that are happening and making sure you're protecting the integrity of being a Scrum Master. And then coming in at number 1, probably my favorite one of all, is when you see teams or organizations that change the Scrum Master role frequently. When you see they're changing that role every day, or they're changing the role every week, and they're just constantly changing the role, it happens all the time. Then, you end up with someone who's a leader who walks in and says, now, who's the Scrum Master this week? And sometimes it was good because it gave many people a chance to play the role. But if you have a definitive Scrum Master, you shouldn't take away their ability to be a Scrum Master, and you certainly shouldn't be passing around the responsibilities as part of the role. I think it's just important for you to get a dedicated Scrum Master if you can, and if you can't get a dedicated Scrum Master, make sure that you bring someone up from the teams to fill in on that position of Scrum Master until you can fill that vacancy. the other thing that's incredibly important is I want to make sure that Scrum Masters understand that it is their responsibility to be a little visionary, and they will get called on for certain advice or counsel. And it's okay, but I just don't want their role to be diminished. I don't want people to say, "Oh, well, if the Scrum Master role is always changing, who's the Scrum Master this week?" I don't ever want it to turn into that. I want people to make sure they understand that the Scrum Master is an important role, and that they're justified in doing the things that they need to do in order to help the team be successful. So, lots of good information here. I really wanted to dig in more, but I think that if you, as a Scrum Master, understand those anti-patterns and you know what to look for, it could keep you out of a heap of trouble, right? So I just want to make sure you understand that the Scrum Master role is so critical and so important. And once you gain that focus and you do understand the anti-patterns, it'll be easier from that point forward for you to do the right thing and for calling others to do the right thing and help build that internal Agile Center of Excellence. I know that's pretty incredible, but that's it. That's all for this edition of the Daily Stand-Up. That's all for this episode. Tune in this week and every week where you can learn more about this topic and others. We want to thank our writer who wrote in to ask us this question about the lackluster Scrum Master. And we encourage you, if you have a question or a topic that you want covered here on the Daily Stand-Up Podcast, we encourage you to reach out to learn more at agiledad.com. That's LEARNMORE at agiledad.com. And we'll be able to make sure that you get everything that you need to be successful in your Agile implementation. Until next time, we encourage you to stay well, stay healthy, and stay agile, my friends. Do take care.